fellow patriots, Bravo Echo here. Hope you're doing well and hope you have a safe and blessed Memorial Day weekend wherever you may be, whether you're alone or with family traveling. I hope it's a good time for you to enjoy your time and get some rest. It's been a long first 5.5 months of the year, and I fear I shouldn't say I fear. I do believe the next 6.5 months of 2023 is going to be very interesting. Um, it would be really easy right now to say what in the Shazam is going on in our country and around the world as well. There's so many crazy things that are happening. Uh, you can't believe any of the stories coming out in regards to the NATO side or the Russian side of the Ukrainian war. Almost everything now is um, bent or not accurate. Um, it's like no one's telling the truth, uh, or they're trying to lean it, or they're giving information potentially to set up the other side. Um, you may have caught in the news the Russian freedom fighters that were caught on film heading into Russia, and part of their convoy was using U.S. vehicles. It's unknown if they were American drivers or not, but it would be interesting to know how they got their hands on U.S. military transportation, um, whether it was stolen or provided to them. And then you'd ask what else is being provided to them. And it was also in the news that the U.S. has agreed to ship F-16s to Ukraine to help them. Um, if we have not been providing training to the Ukrainian pilots in advance, it's going to be months, if not a couple years, before they're even going to be capable of flying them. But the question is, where are they going to park these fighter jets? Because early on in the war, one of the first steps was Russia bombed and took out key infrastructure throughout Ukraine to include their airport runways. So, where are they going to park them? Are they going to put them in another NATO country, which then is going to draw that country further into more escalation? Another interesting piece to keep your eye on is going to be what happens with Turkey. Probably 2 years ago in the newsletter, I wrote about the dilemma that Turkey had in the United States with the Turkey was trying to acquire the most sophisticated airframes for fighter jets in the U.S. inventory. However, they already possessed the top Russian radar systems, mobile radar systems. So having our jets, which this radar system could not detect yet, putting both in the hands of Turkey would basically allow them to compromise, even though they're a NATO country. So I do believe there's elections coming up in Turkey soon. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. If the people are going to support the current regime, or I believe there's a lady who's running against the current president. There's some scuttlebutt about Turkey being kicked out of NATO, and if by chance that happens and Turkey then aligns with Iran and Russia with the key vesselways for movement on the waters, that's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And speaking of Iran, Israel is beating the drum louder and louder and more often that that they need to deal with Iran immediately to start a war because of the Iranian threat to Israel. And if Israel goes to war with Iran, that's going to draw the United States into that predicament as well. Um, there's a lot of chatter in reference to the United States and China, and if the United States continues and gets drawn into a war in Ukraine with Russia or in Eastern Europe theater, would China invade Taiwan? The interesting thing is, in the last 30 to 45 days, the airflow, the military airflow in that theater has not increased other than the last few days, and that was probably due to the super typhoon that struck Guam about 48 hours ago. I think they had 140, 150 mile an hour sustained winds, and the typhoon veered in the last hour or so, so they didn't take a head-on hit. It kind of hooked, but they still got about 15 inches of rain and very damaging winds. So they probably have some infrastructure problems and some flooding, which probably impacted their communications over there. So that could be something to watch as well, because Guam is the gas station for the U.S. military in the Pacific. And it would be a potential launching point for fighters and bombers that are not on floating platforms. In addition, last I read, the U.S. has opened 5 additional military bases in the Philippines, which we had basically left the Philippines when the volcano erupted years ago. So I've read that we're wanting to put about 12 more bases in the Philippines. So it's kind of cyclic over there. And south of the border, Central and South America, we still have thousands and thousands that are working their way up to come across our border. Again, you can't believe what you read there. The U.S. reported when the Title 42 expired that after a day or two the numbers decreased. Well, they may have decreased at the fence, but there's actually video of the military opening gates to allow them to come through without being stopped. But why the numbers dropped was Homeland Security went down into Mexico, from what I'm reading. They went down to Mexico and they advertised that individuals didn't have to go to the border. They could come to rally points, and the U.S. was loading them on buses and driving them into the United States. So there were less people coming to the fence. However, they were being transported into America. And then I watched some video of reporters on the ground. Chuck Holton in the Red Zone was down interviewing, and particularly there were a lot of young men from Venezuela, and they all had tickets to different major cities in America. It was Denver, Baltimore, New York, and Philadelphia. So our cities continue to be infiltrated. I read today that there's a lot of parents that are protesting to the school boards because of the COVID lockdown and the mandatory shot that children had to get, but yet they're allowing all the immigrants to come in without any immunizations and putting them right into the school systems. So there seems to be turmoil everywhere. Um, Out on the West Coast, there was um, a train moving that had three trains as part of the total package. Um, was carrying ammonium nitrate, I believe it was, and about 60,000 pounds of it vanished. Um, it's kind of being blown off as yeah, it leaked out, or it's no real big deal. And then I read that the company that owns the train company that was transporting it, which is a more modern day train with lots of safety features on the train, they said actually it was not in liquid form, that it was in pellets, and it was basically like a coal car, except it was carrying these pellets. So it's possibly through the mesh screening on top that the pellets blew out, which is bunker, BS. So who knows? Who knows what's going on? There's so much craziness that's going on. There's a lot of rumbling going on right now on a lot of platforms and so-called sources that are suggesting there's a possibility of some type of big event happening this weekend, and that's why they issued the satellite phones to 50 of our politicians, and that they would get notified, and they would be moved down into their bunker. The part of that that makes me scratch my head is, unless they're sitting outside with their antenna up pointing towards the satellite, someone notifying them via their satellite phone is not going to happen. Because, as some of you probably know, satellite phones will not work indoors. So, we could go down the rabbit trail on the whole why did they issue satellite phones. Um, I don't know. It's really hard to say. There's reports coming out of the Midwest United States, around the Kansas area, that the weather is so dry there, and the wheat fields are in advanced drought form, and the farmers are just abandoning their farms and leaving. That's 2 straight years of drought. So it was a bad year last year, and evidently it's going to be worse this year. So there's really no positive news, unless um, I guess it depends what you call positive news. There were a couple cases of mad cow disease reported on a farm or a couple farms here in Tennessee this week, but it's getting minimal news coverage as well. So, with all that said, I pretty much take all the news with a grain of salt, unless you have the time to take the topic and really dig and start searching. Um, there's just so much garbage, you know, so much garbage out there. Um, but the positive side of it is, I do believe I've spent the last several months kind of doing some advanced research and reading. Um, I do believe there's hope. I do believe I do believe there is a great opportunity to come through whatever it is that's ahead of us. Um, to come through it okay. Um, the question is how much effort you put into your preparedness now, before it's too late, that you're going to be able to survive on your own without being a part of the system when the time comes. Which leads me to the whole topic again. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's the importance of community. Having people around you like minded with skills, who are pretty much in the same position that you are as far as what you believe in, what you stand for, and you have the resources to survive and take care of your family and your community without being dependent at all, zero dependence on the system. Um, I would encourage you to read the Patriot Express newsletter edition. I think it's 217 that comes out tomorrow, um, May 26th, I believe. I go into great detail in reference to my thoughts on how to survive what is ahead. And you can check it out on our website at hopeforsurvival.com and share your thoughts on what you think. But um, there's a couple videos embedded in my thoughts. And I would encourage you to watch both of the videos on the gentleman in Brazil that's now in Texas and the former Special Forces EOD and the former Black Hawk pilot. That they have a three-way discussion on surviving what's ahead. They kind of approach it from an urban area, but you can apply a lot of what they're recommending no matter where you are. And you're going to hear a lot of the same things that we've been recommending in training classes on the website and so forth. Um, and everything that we do, so much of it is attitude. Um, First, having hope, but also having the attitude um, that you can prevail. So, on the issue of prevailing, um, something that's really, really important. I mentioned attitude and to prevail. We all need the attitude, I believe, that we want to live to see another day. And I've mentioned it briefly before, but something I want to hit on is the Rambo attitude. And I come across individuals that have the Rambo attitude. And what I mean by the Rambo attitude, it is instead of living to see another day and approaching circumstances, situations, using their head to apply a level of defense that's applicable to the situation. There's individuals who basically everything they talk about is they're going to go out in a blaze of glory. And they put on their 80 pounds of gear. They can barely walk. They're out of shape. And they think that it's, in some degree, it seems like they think that it's going to be a video game. And I can assure you it's not going to be a video game. And furthermore, if you've got loved ones who are dependent upon you, why would you put yourself in the situation to possibly lose your life and not be there to support your loved one or loved ones? Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't defend your family and you shouldn't defend your property and your resources. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is there are individuals who overtly are looking for the opportunity to get in an exchange that will likely cost them their life. All right, it's not a criticism. Um, I've been blessed in my life, and I have great honor that I got to work with the best in the world for that matter. And every one of them were Rambos. They got to wear the capital R. However, more than being Rambos, they were extremely smart. They were probably smarter than they were Rambo. And using their smarts, they were able to um, quickly do the OODA loop, and they knew when to engage, when not to engage, how to engage, when to extract. They knew how to apply all these things. And these guys, it was no big deal for them carrying their gear to go out and run 8 to 10 miles. It's how they train. It's their job. Most of us are older. We are nowhere close to the physical shape that these professionals are in. Um, I'm not trying to discourage anyone. I'm trying to get individuals that may qualify in that area to give some thought to um, what's more important: protecting their family, um, or going out and trying to engage to utilize some of their high dollar equipment. Okay. Um, Based on past experiences, when civil strife happens and it breaks down, bad things happen, and usually it's in and around communities. It's not even the warring factions, it's individuals who are trying to take control of communities and streets, thugs, gangs, wanting to rob people of their resources. Um, and they do bad things to women, and they do bad things to young ladies. And as a male, um, I personally, my choice is to stay to protect my family versus running off down the street and making it 20 yards because my gear weighs 80 pounds, um, and being out of breath and putting myself in harm's way when mentally I know where at this point in life I'm best qualified to be. Okay, it's don't let your brain get your body in trouble. All right, you got to be smart. So again, I'm not trying to discourage anyone. I'm not saying don't protect your family and your home. What I'm saying is pick your battles wisely and try to live to see another day. Okay, so on that, I'll close out this video. Um, Try to take some time and go enjoy your holiday. Make the most of it. Um, Looking at the forecast out over the next 30, 90, 120 days, there's a lot of crazy things that are going on that are out of the norm around the country, involving, let's just say, authorities, if you will. Um, a lot of normal patterns that set up trends and predictability, uh, they're either increasing or there's things out of the norm that are occurring. So um, I don't know if there's potentially a man-made event coming or a natural event coming, um, but um, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are occurring. We just need to keep our head on a swivel, keep doing what we're doing. Um, so many of you that I know are doing great things, things out of your norm. Keep doing. Don't let up. Just keep preparing, but take care of yourself. Get some rest. Keep the faith. Know there's hope. But you have to be a part of that equation to ensure that that hope is part of your future. Other people can't do it for you. Okay? So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. I'll do my best to try to get some videos faster for you. I've got a lot laid out that I want to do. It's just I'm absolutely swamped with a lot of things that are taking place, that are taking up time. And as I've shared before, it takes a lot of time to do YouTube videos that are demonstrating something. You got to set it all up. You got to get the lighting right. You got to get the video right. You got to cut it. You got to edit it. And I don't always have those hours available. Sometimes it's late into the night trying to get them out. But I appreciate your time watching. So if you haven't, please subscribe, share, help us build our YouTube channel. So take care of yourself, be blessed, and till next time, Bravo Echo out. Thank you for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. If you are new to Hope for Survival, you can check out our books at our webpage. Book 1, which is Hope for Survival, Getting You Prepared for Disasters, and Book 2, Hope for Survival, The Mindset, are both available for order on the website. We also offer the Hope for Survival football stick, which is a memory stick set up as a digital filing cabinet with files already loaded on there for you to digitally copy items such as deeds, auto transcript for ownership, wills, living wills, loans, banking information, items that if your home burned down or you had some form of a disaster, you could have all your important papers already digitally filed on this stick. All you do is simply drag the digital file into the appropriate preset folder so that you'll have it in the event of a disaster. You have to flee your home in a hurry, or also if you're away from home and you need critical information that's personal, if you have your memory stick with you, you can put it in your computer and pull that information up wherever you may be. Again, you can find these items to order at our website, https www.hopeforsurvival.com, or you can email me at preparedness101@protonmail.com, and I will try to help you out. Again, thanks for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. Hope to see you again.